Hello and welcome back to Jack's FSX videos. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to taxi without using progressive taxi after ATC have told you the way and using airport charts. Okay, so we're just using the scenario that we've just landed, and we're now going to need taxiing to the gates. So we've got a taxi sign here, for example. So basically I'm just going to quickly run you through what this actually means. Basically whatever's in black with the with the yellow square around it, yellow border, that is the taxiway you are on. So we're currently on taxiway W, or as you say in the aviation industry, whiskey. Okay, so you've got to learn the phonetic alphabet. And then you've got taxiway A, or alpha, here, which is basically saying is what is running from left to right, which is what these two arrows mean. Sometimes it will have an arrow on the left, which means taxiway A is that way, and then it will say something like delta, and then an arrow that way, so it's alpha that way, delta that way. That's just the breakdown of what that sign means. So we're just going to launch up ATC, which is scroll lock even, if you didn't know that, and we're just going to tune onto the ground, and we're going to request parking and fueling and taxi to the gates. Okay, so you can obviously tell I haven't actually landed here, we're just using that scenario. So requesting taxi to gate, so there you go. Taxi to gate 5 using taxiway Whiskey Alpha Romeo. Okay, that's quite an easy one to remember. War. So obviously, same as you normally do, acknowledge it all and whatever. So you may be thinking, I don't want to use progressive taxi, because if you don't even know what this means, if you're new to FSX, basically progressive taxi, you click it and it tells you exactly the way to go with these yellow arrows. Okay, but if you don't want to use that, if you want a more realistic approach, this is what you've got to do. So you've got to follow these, and yes, it is possible without using charts at all, but it's so much easier to use them, especially when you're at a complex airport. This one's pretty easy. WAR, you've only got to go on 3 taxiways. So whiskey, we're already on, and then it's saying A. Now this is the bit why you need charts, because it's then saying after you're on Alpha, go on to Romeo. So if you're new to this airport, now I know this airport, I know that it's going to be that way, but if you're new to this airport, you might be thinking, I've now got to go on Alpha, do I turn left or do I turn right? It's not telling me, and this is where you need airport charts. You need to know where Romeo is. So you look on your charts and you see is Romeo at that end or is it up that end. I'm going to show you how to access these charts in a second. And then once you've seen, oh, Romeo's at that end, you now know that you need to turn right onto Alpha, and then you can go into Romeo later on. So I'm now going to show you how to find charts online. So very simply, go onto Google and literally just type in airport charts, and you will get a list of loads of places that will provide these charts. I personally like to use NATS for the main UK airports. So you can literally just type in at the end UK or USA, France, wherever you are, and it will come up with these things for you. So like I said, I like to use NATS, and NATS is, in their own words really, I think what they said was the leading company in air traffic control, basically. That's what they do. They're all about air traffic control and centres and things like that. So that's what they are. They're based in the UK. So we've got all these airports here. So I've just clicked onto this link here. If you are in the UK or want to try it out at a UK airport, we're at East Midlands Airport. So you simply find that on the list. Now these are only the main airports in the UK. There's definitely not this many airports in the UK. There's loads more. Okay, so and NATS will only provide them for the UK, but that's the one I like to use. So this is your list of airports, and it's got, like I said, all the main ones on here. So it's got all the London ones there, all 5 of those. We're going to go for London Heathrow. As you can see, there's a massive list of charts here, okay, and they're all useful in their own way, but we're only doing a taxiing tutorial here, so we only need to use this little top section, and they are almost always at the top here. Okay, so there's basically a 3-level breakdown of charts that you might use when you're taxiing. You've got the Aerodrome Chart, which I'm just going to I'll open that in a second actually. We've got the Aerodrome Chart, which is like an overall sort of view of the airport. It shows you all of the airport, all the taxiways, all the terminal buildings, things like that. Then the next level down into a little more detail is you've got the ground movement and all taxiways chart. They might be named slightly differently depending on the airport or the website that you're getting them from. So you've got the ground movement and all taxiways chart. This shows you an even greater detail of just the taxiways, and it's a little bit more of a simple chart to follow just because you're following taxiways. And then you've got the movement, parking, or docking charts. So I'll get to this one in a second. This is just for A380s, but I'll get to that in a second. So movement, parking, and docking, that shows you an even greater depth of detail. And in this case, just for Terminal 5, just for Terminal 4, 3, and 1 and 2. But most airports, if they're a smaller one and they do have a separate one for movement, parking, docking, will just have one for all of this, all these terminals. So that's basically three-level breakdown. So we're going to open up the Aerodrome chart here. There it is. So this is for Heathrow Airport. And when you first look at it, it might hit you as looking quite complicated. But like I said, we're just concentrating on taxiways. So that's all you need to look at. So you've got here taxiway A, taxiway B, taxiway D, C, you know, and you'll notice immediately, well, maybe not immediately, but you'll notice after looking at this that some taxiways go around the entire airport. Like taxiway A is there, and all the way around here into this corner, all the way down to this corner, this corner. It's a complete loop. Same for taxiway B, it's an inner loop. And you've even got things like link 33, link 34, because they're so small, there's no point giving them a letter. Okay, so it just links taxiway B to A. So it might say follow taxiway A, 31B, you know, which means that you come up this way, up there, or the other way, up there, like that, depending on what your following letters are. So this is basically the overall chart, and every airport in this list will have an aerodrome chart, and this is the one that you may need to use for a lot of airports if they don't have the following ones. Okay, so the bigger the airport, the more likely they are to have all three levels of charts, but if not, they might just have the top one and the second one. If not, they might even just have the aerodrome chart. So we're now going to go into the movement and taxiways chart. As you can see, this is a lot simpler. It's more zoomed in. As you can see, let me go back there. There's none of this stuff at the top and around the sides. Alright, it's a lot more zoomed in, and it's a lot simpler. You haven't got any of this detail like the runway lights and runway markings. It just makes it look simpler and easier to follow, even with the taxi lines drawn on. So this is what you'd use for an overall view when you're taxiing around the airport. So you've got all the taxiways there. Then the next level down is the parking and docking charts. So if I go on the Terminal 5 one, for example, it's an even greater depth. It even shows down to the each little gate, basically. So if I was taxiing at this airport, I would be using this one here, the movement one, and taxiways one. And then once I've gotten into this little section here of Terminal 5, for example, I then switch to this chart to see where exactly my gate is. Let's go on to our East Midlands one, because this is the one we're trying to solve. So East Midlands Airport has got an aerodrome chart, and then it's got a movement, parking, and docking chart. So as you can see, it's only got two levels. Every airport, like I said, will have an aerodrome chart like this. So there you go, you can see it all. And then you've got your taxiway and parking and docking chart here. So not only has it got your taxiways on there, but it's also integrated each little parking spot on there as well, because the airport's not big enough. It's small enough basically to be able to zoom in on this little section and fit in all the little aircraft spaces here. Okay, so that's basically what that shows. But we're actually up here. We've come off taxiway whiskey, haven't we? So we've been told to then go on Alpha, which is this one stretching all the way down here to Foxtrot, and then we've been told to go on to Romeo, which is right there. So immediately we can see, if we flip this upside down, which we can't do on a PDF file, but immediately we can see that we need to turn right. It's left on here, but it's right in our game here. So we need to turn right all the way down here and then onto Romeo. And then once we reach this point, we could switch over to this chart here, Romeo, and then go to gate 5 is what they said, which is interestingly right there on this map. It was 5, yeah. So there you go, a glitch on FSX. We would actually need to take taxiway Tango. So whether that's something more likely, to be honest, is probably to do with the fact that FSX is simply so old. So that is where you may get some out-of-date statistics. As you can see, this information is up to date as of the 19th of December 2017. So that's just last year. This game is based on aerodrome charts of 2006, you know, almost over 10 years, sorry, older than what it actually is. So you might get little glitches like that, but Progressive Taxi, if you do get stuck near the end, will tell you where to go. But yeah, there you go basically, or you can just go on Tango and then 5, as you should do. So there you go, that's how you do it. I'll show you one more example, out of this list, like let's pick Bedford for example. I didn't even know Bedford had a airport, but as you can see, it's just got an aerodrome chart. It's got nothing else. So you click on that, and then that's got everything you need. It's sideways, unfortunately, this one. But yeah, the runway is very small, and it's simply got 3 taxiways, A, B, and C. So back to the game, I don't need to use progressive taxi, because I can now unpause that, head over to the right, and now I know that, so I've finished with Whiskey, I'll be carrying on Alpha, and then on to Romeo. So Whiskey, Alpha, Romeo is the course that I've been told to go on, so let's just head on over there and see what has happened with this out of gate map. Okay, so we are following here, so it says Tango is there, and then as we just look up here, we've got Sierra, so the arrows are pointing which way you would go, and then we've got Romeo here, which is what we need to go on. So we're still following what the game said, although the charts did say something different, but like I said, charts obviously, so the game is obviously out of gate. So we're just going to keep following this way, and then we'll find basically gate number 5. Now this is where it can get a little tricky if these are out of gate, because gates simply aren't labelled in default airports in FSX. So we're just going to open up scroll lock, hit on there. So as you can see, we are going the right way, and gate 5 is there on this game. That is just basically a full tutorial there showing you how to use those charts and taxiway signs, etc., without using progressive taxi. So I hope that you did find it useful. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, and if you've got any suggestions of videos that you want to see on this channel, then do let me know, and I will try my best to make them for you. Yeah, just make sure you stick around on this channel, because like I keep saying, big changes yet to come this year, so do subscribe for that if you're new to the channel. And that is it, guys. Sorry for the glitch there, and thanks for watching.